Hi guys, Pat Stewart. I'm a board certified hypnotherapist and a published cartoonist. So two great tastes that taste great together. And this is the introduction to my free online course about Plato's Myth of Now, I'm not a Platonic scholar or a Platonic historian, so you may be asking yourself reasonably, why would I take a course on the myth of from this guy? And here's the explanation. I discovered Plato's Myth of at the height of the pandemic during 2020, and when I first heard the story, it just kind of awoken something in me, and I immediately recognized a hidden seed, a kernel within this story that represented what I see as a roadmap to meaning in life, a roadmap to purpose, and I feel like that's an epidemic that our culture is going through. Is we lack meaning, we lack purpose. There's an onslaught of nihilism coming at us, and I think this story specifically, Plato's Myth of has the antidote to that. And so the myth of appeared in at the end of Plato's dialogue, The Republic. And so the Republic was about living a virtuous life versus an unvirtuous life. And the story, the myth of at the very end of it, seemed to be kind of a story about Plato's ideas about cosmology and what happens after we die and the unperishable nature of the soul. And so that seemed to be what Plato was telling us with the story. But I think intentionally, unintentionally, there is something else inside the story that if we learn to access it, learn to read it, like I said, that serves as a roadmap for us for how to bring meaning into our lives. And so you could ask the question, did Plato mean to do this? Did he not mean to do this? And I think Plato, being one of the wisest men that ever lived, it's entirely possible that he was working on two levels, that he knew the story does this on the surface, but under the surface, it's doing this. Or maybe this is something that I just see in the story. But I know it's not something that I just see because Jungian analyst and writer James Hillman, he wrote a book in the 90s called The Soul's Code, in which he kind of lays out the same thing, that he sees within the story of the myth of and the concept of the daimon or the daemon. He sees kind of a way to position our lives inside of destiny. And so I think that's one of the really valuable things of the story, is that it can give your life a sense of destiny. It can locate you inside the larger picture of the world and the story of humanity. And I think we need that. I think everybody needs that. I think everybody needs to not see their life just as something that is happening to them, but as a necessary thing that has an end goal, that has a purpose, that there is a reason why you are here. And the myth of can help you figure out what that reason is. And so this is a free course that's online. It's going to show up on YouTube. So if you want to keep seeing these videos, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, or all the things that YouTubers tell you to do those things. But also I want to make you aware that I have, while these videos are completely free, I have a Patreon, and the link will be in the description, and it's at the top of my page. And if you go to that Patreon at the $1 a month level, you will get PDFs that go along with the individual lessons. I don't want this to be just a headspace where we're just talking about these concepts. I want there to be actual practices attached to these so that you can apply the lessons in real time, rubber meets road in your life. And so to help you do those exercises, there are PDFs, and you can download those from my Patreon at the $1 a month level. So I'm trying to make that as accessible to everyone as possible. And then I mentioned I'm also a cartoonist. At the $8 a month level, I'm using this course kind of as a first draft of a project, and it's something I have never seen before. It may exist somewhere, but I've just never seen it. But because until I come up with a better name, I'm calling it a graphic workbook. And so basically it's a combination of a graphic novel, so comic material, and a workbook, so kind of the PDF material I already talked about, combining those two into an illustrated graphic novel self-development book. And so I will be in a digital format, uploading my progress on this book. As I'm making it, I'll be showing you on the Patreon at the $8 a month level, here's what I'm working on, here's what I got so far. And then, at the end of the whole thing, I'll be able to release, like, here's this book that I made, and you were there from the beginning. You were watching the whole thing grow. And so, and then there's a couple other levels. There's a $20 a month level where it's called the Salon level, where like-minded people who are involved in this course and are invested in this material, we can get together in kind of a Zoom setting or a discourse setting. I am not sure what the actual application is yet, but we can get together and talk about our experience of the daemon, of the mythover, of finding this purpose and meaning in life. And then there's one final level. It's a $50 a month level, and for that one, you get Voxer access. So Voxer is one of those apps where it's like they call it a walkie-talkie app, but I think that's misleading. Basically, you can communicate one-on-one with a person, and so this part it's limited to 10 people. So basically, if you're going through this process and you have questions, or you think you would benefit from a little one-on-one interaction, then the Voxer app or the Voxer level is available to you. And so you will have my Voxer address, and you can communicate with me back and forth about this process and about this material. But the course itself, which I'm going to try to update every week, is free. You can just come to YouTube and watch that as you will. And then you can decide, if I want this supplementary material, if I want to supplement my journey, what level do I want to do that at? And so that's what's going to happen. So next week I'll upload the next video in the course, and it's going to be an abridged telling of the myth of Ur story, because I'm talking about it, but maybe you've never heard it, or maybe you have heard it, but you're kind of unfamiliar. And so I say abridged because not everything in the story, I think, is meaningful to this journey necessarily. So I've just kind of cut out the parts that here's the gold. Here's what we're mining for. I'm going to tell the story from that point of view. That'll be next week. But I'm really, really excited to do this. I'm really into it, and excited for those of you on the channel who have participated with my daemon material and are excited about that, and excited for us to kind of dive into all this together. So thank you guys, and I'll see you next week.